thrilled to introduce you to him because he is a very interesting Qigong practitioner and teacher. He began his Qigong apprenticeship with the legendary monk Zhao Yao when he was only 8 years old. And as part of his training, he endured a 100-day water fast in a dark underground chamber. And from this experience, Robert developed extraordinary abilities, healing abilities, and spiritual powers. And now Robert is a world-renowned Qigong master and the founder of Robert Peng Qigong. So welcome, Robert. It's so great to see you.
Thank you. Yeah, happy to see you here, Sharon. Yeah, it's a beautiful opportunity. It's my honor to share something that we can share to everything in the world.
Wonderful. So, some of our audience may have heard about your childhood introduction to Qigong as a monk's apprentice. How long did that apprenticeship last, and what are the lasting gifts from it that you still carry with you today?
Well, I think from a master, the best thing that I got from is the joy, to tell the truth. Because he, when I met him, he was 85 years old. Actually, he was like hermit, not like fancy hermit. Actually, he was forced to be a hermit because that is the peak time of cultural revolution. And he was a monk all his life, but his monastery was taken over, and he was wandered along the rivers and find a job in my hometown. So nobody knew. He was like a senior monk and a top martial artist and an amazing legendary healer. So he may have a million reasons to be an angry person, but I've never seen him to be angry. The only time he was upset was when I was, get into a street fight. The only one fight I had in my life. He was very pissed, yeah. All the other time, he was smiling, no matter how busy, how hard, how people treated him. He's like, always have little buffers around him that make him joyful and resourceful. So that made him young, yeah. When I saw him, he looked like 45, 50 years old, but he's already 85, yeah. So that is one of the things I learned from him, is no matter what happens, the joy is the things that it can generate from your internal power. It's not just reasoning, I have to. When your energy are flowing well, you're just happy and healthy.
And how did you meet this man?
Well, I was a sick boy at 8 years old. I got a very severe chest pain. Yeah, I still don't know what that problem is, because at that time the doctors tried to diagnose, and they couldn't have any name for that. So one prescription after another just didn't help. In the end, my mother listened to the doctor, because the doctor said, maybe your son need to have a rest. It's just, to recover. I thought it was the best medicine, because, as a little boy, you don't want to go to school. But actually, it proved to be wrong, because, I didn't know that when it is the school time or the work time, it was like ghost place in my home area, in all the communities, because everybody went to school, went to kindergarten, went to work. So nobody was there. Before I didn't know, because when I was there, everybody was there, right? Then it was boring. So in the end, I said, well, I didn't want to stay at home. I just want to go out. So I went out. Around my home, there's a wall. Yeah, actually, there's a resort hotel. So I climbed over the wall, jumped into that. Very painful. I couldn't care. Then at the corner of the wall, there's a red brick building. It's a boiler room, yeah. So I went there slowly, then go to the door and saw that middle-aged man I mentioned, my master. Actually, that was my master. he was shoveling the coal very gracefully. Yeah, actually he was the cleanest boiler room attendant I ever met. Yeah, because they work with the coal. They work with the coal.
Right.
Dirty, but he is clean, he is graceful, and he's always smiling and greeted me. Then we chat. And then he said, "Why didn't you go to school?" "Oh, I get sick." "Yeah." "Oh, you get sick." So he gazed at me for nearly 5 minutes, no talking. Well, later I learned, then I know he was doing the healing on me. At that time, I was just so nervous what he's doing, no talking at all. Yeah. Then he began to chat with me and began to tell me the stories of Monkey King. He's a wonderful storyteller. Then when we leave, he said, "Well, feel free to come anytime you want." Then of course I visited him every day ever since. I joked with him later. We say when we're moving, we say when you say I can come anytime, you're just being polite, right? You didn't know I really made it. Yeah. So after some time, I think about 4 weeks, yeah, about a month's time, from nowhere, he said, "Do you want to do wushu?" Wushu is Chinese martial art. I say, "Oh yes, yeah." And nobody can teach me. "I'll teach you." "You can do wushu?" Because he doesn't look like very muscular, a big man. He said, two things. Discipline. Every day you should come here at 5 o'clock, 2 hours at least, yeah. And also keep secret. Because at that time it was very dangerous if we got caught to try to practice this very traditional things. Yeah. So that's how I started. And later he asked me to choose whether I should go more with martial art or the other way, use the same energy I trained through the martial art to do the healings. Then I said, well, I want to do the healing. So that's the way I began to get to the healing. And in order to purify my energy, he put me on a water fast for 100 days. That was a few years later when he returned to the monastery. And then the retreat was under the basement of the temple. Pitch darkness, no light at all. The only light I could see was a lit incense holding in his hands when he visited me every day, guiding me, teaching me in the darkness. Yeah, for about an hour. Then he put that incense in the bowl and with the rice, yeah, so they can stick on there. And another hour, maybe it comes pitch dark. The amazing thing is that in that darkness, I feel the whole world. Yeah, I feel a few lives experience. And for some time, my breathing was getting so slow because a lot of breathing exercise. Then my breathing is getting slow, so slow, like maybe a few times an hour. So it looks like a dead body. We say small death because it's not real death. And he was actually watching me all those 8 days because it can be very critical. I may go away, big death. But when we pass this, it's like huge life again because it's totally transformed from different dimensions. Then I begin to feel my buzzing energies in my fingers. I want to touch people. Then when I get out, I touch people, people feel like zzz, like electricities. So when I guide them to go along the meridians, they feel very charged. Then my master said, that's very, very precious healing power. When you're still young, don't do too much yet, yeah, until waiting you're more mature. So I waited until I was like 28 years old. I began to teach publicly and using that special abilities to do a lot of healings. And I trained like within 5 years, at that time in China, 150,000 students.
Oh,
Yeah. In China,
wow.
there's not a huge number yet.
No, I know, but it's still a big number. It's a big number.
Yeah.
Wow, that is so amazing. And I know that you're experienced in many other healing techniques, but that you have a special interest in how sound and vibrational frequency work in healing. And somebody told me you also like to sing. So can you share with our audience why sound is so important in healing?
Yes, well, firstly, I do love singing. I've never learned singing anyway. It's more like amusing myself, sort of ways like I'm chatting to myself. And also it's that kind of vibrations. Because my singing is like varies all the time. And when I'm driving, when I'm cooking, I sing. I sing. My wife, he knew, like, oh, today you're singing this, then he can catch my mood. And yeah, so of course, yeah, my master taught me a lot of chantings, the chanting, the healing sound, all different kind of things. Because the sound, the sound actually happens before we are even born. Yeah, it's the well, to be strict, there's no sound. The sound is the vibration that comes to our ears, but that kind of vibration is always there. Yeah, it's the vibration and particles. These two things make a whole world. Now the quantum physics are going to do the studies that far. They begin to find actually when you go to the very elementary, very essential things of what really matters is nothing. Yeah, it's just a particle and waves. And waves, when they have something to work together, they create the sound. We have the sound, we can hear because we have eardrums, but we have not only the ears that we call ears, every tiny particles, they have ears. Yeah, and that ears are resonating differently. Yeah. So when my master was teaching me, he said, well, the meditation, the chanting, yeah, there are two ways of chanting. In a broad way, of course, yeah. One is called inner ear chanting. Another is external ear chanting. Well, external ear chanting, to be simple, actually, it's just you listen. You listen to the concert, you listen to the music, you listen to the mantra, you listen to what others or other instrument doing. And when they send a vibration, yeah, it works on you, especially when you open your system. I had a few sound journey, or sometimes they call it sound bath. That is amazing. It is like roller coaster. It is open up, in a very pleasant ways. I have quite a few good friends. They are very good with Tibetan bowls, with gongs. They have like 20 gongs together with, and then crystal balls. Oh, it's like a feast, right? And that is called external ears. You do it through externally. Another is internal ears. So internal ears is actually produced by your own sound, like through your own vocal, even through your mind, and you make some sound. Then you listen by yourself, And of course, in a lot of situations, especially when you're in a big mass, a big group of people, you do the combinations, like inner ear and external ear. You chant yourself, meanwhile you feel the others chanting. So that kind of vibrations from internally and externally, it's like a symphony. Yeah. It's so richly in hundreds of energy and awaken our potential energies. Yeah. The potential energy is what we're born with. Yeah. We call it potential, meaning because you carry it. Yeah. But it is called potential because it is like an oil deep in the earth. Yeah. Sometimes they just open, but a lot of them are hidden deep, and you should have some special tools to make them open up. So when they open up, in my master's words, he said that is your gold mine. Everybody is born with gold mine. Yeah, meaning we're born rich. And then the problem is that a lot of people, meanwhile, they're holding the gold ball, begging. They don't know they are rich. Yeah, they have the gold ball, they think it is just like rubbish, and they're begging for food, begging for medicine or there's drugs, thinking that will help. It just help temporarily, or sometimes it can be poisonous, right? So the potential energies can be initiated and cultivated in many ways, and sound is one of the beautiful ways because it doesn't take space. You can do it in a meditation way. You can do it by yourself. You can do it together with others. You can go with both inner ear and external ears, vibrate from cells to cells, from organs to organs, and that will just this simple chanting alone can enrich a lot of our life. Of course, just as we mentioned about singing, singing is a kind of chanting. But of course, it's more like this kind of tune make you amused. There's some special ways. It's like you just keep chanting. We have different organs, and they all need to be triggered and initiated with some special sound. Of course, it goes with some color as well. Yeah. So that is, yeah, like I said, one of the reasons I like singing, and also one of the reasons that healing can work for us.
So, I think a lot of people wonder why mantra is different from singing. You know, what is it about a mantra that resonates differently in our organs or in our bones, or it has a transformative quality that's different from just sound?
Well, my understanding cannot be very authoritative, but my understanding is that singing in a lot of sense is for amusement, of course, for entertain yourself, entertain the others. So it has both functions. One is energetically, which is not too much emphasized, yeah, including the music, right? Mozart, they have they did Mozart effect because they say the music they have healing effect. The other is for entertainment. Of course, entertainment is also a good kind of energy because they can make us joyful, forget about worries. So this the other kind of energy, but because they are more in a kind of tune, they don't really go deep in the way of healing. Yeah. But when you do the mantra, or we say the healing sound, it is like, okay, I find this mind here. I get all the drills, drill. So this kind of drills, why we call drills? Drills because we do it all the time, right? Striking. So they are more working on the very targeted though. Yeah. For someone who don't know how to do the chanting, it can sound very boring because you're just using one sound or a few sounds. Let's try to recycle. It can be very boring. But the one who really knows how to do that, well, for them it's like beautiful, right? It's beautiful. It's even more beautiful than singing. I like both, of course. Yeah. So constant drops of water goes through the stones. That's what chanting, yeah, works for us. Goes to layers and layers. Especially when our awareness are awakened, then you're more aware of your body, mind, and spirit situations. You can really see the journey. Yeah. Some people ask me how how you sense this. Well, so I said, well, maybe if you're not so advanced yet, you cannot see or feel the journey so updated as what your situation now. But one thing that can be helpful is that every now and then try to recall like what happens this previous years or previous 10 years. You'll be amazed to see that your course of movement, your journey for this year or this 2 years or this 20 years is really like happening as if someone, a magic hand, is making a chess for you. So we think we make this decision, we make the other decision, we make everything by ourselves to make us as who we are now. But if you're really looking back, looking at some critical moment of your decisions, you find there's some magic hands are guiding you. Of course, some guidance are very, very wise, that you make very beautiful decisions, and some are poor decisions, but it's all beyond our awareness. Yeah.
Thank you for that. So, the healing sounds for the organs are an important practice in a lot of Qigong schools. And I know that you are working with sounds to discharge as well as recharge our organs. So I'm just wondering if you can share a sound or two with our audience and we can do a practice with you.
Sure. Well, what I want to share is that very common now. It's called 6 healing sound. 6. If you Google or if you search on YouTube, oh my God, there are 20, 30 versions of 6 healing sounds. So what is the difference? Yeah, what is the difference? Even I myself, I learned at least from 7 masters. 6 healing sound, all different. They are all different. Why is that?
I also have learned many versions of the 6 healing sound.
Right. Yeah. So because it's very popular, and also I think because of the like in China, in when it's very popular in Tang Dynasty, that's more than 1,000 years ago. The Mandarin, or I say the official language is from Canton, is from the south. And now the official language is from Beijing. So even that dialect can be a bit different. Yeah. But my understanding is not exactly what each word is, because it's the sound is not just only natural, but also is the collective awareness. This collective awareness, any sound we are making now is collecting all this big community's energy. So it can change all the time. The same as Tai Chi. In the Chen style Tai Chi, 100 years ago, when it is started, versus the Tai Chi now, they're very different, but the spirit is the same. Spirit is the same. So the 6 healing sound, after, like I just random search and also from my learning from different masters, I find still my master's teaching, when I say my master, that's the master, his one is the most sophisticated one. So I want to share this one with everybody. Because the sound itself, some say you should make the sound out. Yeah, see all this. Some say you should be silent. You should just use the whisper. They are only having one side. And actually that one side is not completed. What is important is that if you want to make a sound, especially for 6 sound specifically, what is the function where you're making the sound out? Like I said, you're making internal voice, internal ear, and make it external. This part is for activating. Say, for example, now we do the liver, because it's spring now, liver. Okay, liver time, is green, yeah, green. The liver sound, when I make the sound, it's called shu, like I make it closer. Shu. So that's the sound. And everybody can follow me for a couple of times Take deep inhale. Shi. So this chanting, the function of this chanting is for initiation, for open up the liver energy. Yeah, the liver energy, of course, both positive, so-called positive, and negatives are in there, right? So you want to open, unwrap, like unwrapping, unwrapping. And we know, if you know the Chinese medicine, the anger and frustrations, that's the one we try to release it, But by this chanting, it doesn't work as a releasing. It's just like knocking at the door, open up. Then the second part, you're chanting with strong whispering sound, like we say shh, shh, but no vocal sound. You say the same shape, shh. You can imagine it's like a big balloon, that kind of anger, frustrations, all these things are spilled out, releasing. We say 泻, 泻和补. 泻 means detoxification, releasing. You do shh. Again. Okay, so that is detoxification, releasing, For this part, it's not encouraged to do too much. My master, when he taught me, say, don't do more than 6 times. Some people do, I want to do half an hour. Just now I did 4 times, right? Someone may feel dizzy already, feel a bit spacey, because first it's very strong, and also it's quite depleting, Then the next part actually is the most important part, that is nourishing part, the nourishing part. This one, you're breathing out through the mouth, chanting, breathing out through the mouth with the sound. The third part, mainly through the nose, tiny bit from the mouth, like the same way, but you don't make sound. Take deep inhale with nose. Then the shape of making the shape. Then you're breathing out through the nose, tiny bit from the mouth, and feel that warmth of air inside your mouth. Take deep inhale. Again. Exhale slowly from your nose, tiny bit from your mouth. Feel that kind of warmth lingering inside your mouth. Feel the tonifications, Feel that kind of kindness, or you're taking care, all this kind of tenderness, understanding is nurtured from mouth to your liver. All this are comforted. And this part, you can do longer time, longer time. Very important, no matter which state, the first, she, the second, sh, the third, After each chanting, make sure you close the mouth, like rest for 2 or 3 seconds. You don't do she, 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 she. You have little roundabout pauses, that kind of pauses. Yeah. So 3 steps. The last step is open. Actually, normally what I structure is 3 she vocal, 6 shh, then 6 or 3 to unlimited. Yeah. Sometimes you feel I feel good enough, then you just relax. Nourishing chi, because the third part also brings you into a very deep meditative state. You feel like all of a sudden you're in another world. All right, then you can do some self-massage to finish. So that practice the single one can vary from 3 minutes to 5 minutes to even half an hour. So beautiful, nourished chi. Anger and frustration. People want to get away. No, actually, that is good energy also. Well, energy is good or bad. This itself is not good or bad. It just depends on how you treat them. Yeah, but because anger and frustrations are not easy to harness like a horse, right? You're like walking a dog in a Central Park. In the end, you find the dog is walking you, right? So, you want it's very hard to harness them. So for that one, we also try to release it, make it less, and then using the understanding, generosity, this kind of virtues or kindness, this kind of positive energy, like an ocean, to embrace that little drops of rain of anger and frustrations. Then we're in a young dominant state. So you're a bright and happy person.
So let me just kind of repeat for the audience. So the first sound is like knocking on the door, just waking up that organ energy. And the second sound is the energetic release of whatever emotional energy you might have congested in that organ or the meridian of that organ. And then the third sound is the nourishing part where the real healing takes place.
Yes, because it's taking place. And the nourishing is always the last thing. It's like, doing operations. You cut open, you take rid of, then you need to heal it, right?
Right.
And the last part is the healing. Yeah. And also, of course, we will say the sound and then the color, because the green color is also the way to open that. So sometimes I like to put a green picture, the green grass, whatever, looking at it and gazing at it for 20 seconds. They can even make it even more holistic. Yeah.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. As I said, and you mentioned also, you've learned the healing sounds in many different ways. And I think one reason why they're so popular right now is that people immediately feel something from this practice. True. Very few people do the practice and feel nothing. And, that in and of itself is, just really important, that you can shift your energetic state or your disposition from one place to a better place in just, by just doing something simple like this. Do you have arm movements that you do with the sound, or is it just making the sound?
Just making sound is good enough. Yeah. You can use different movement to conduct it more, but it's not necessary. Yeah. So it depends on. We have even the walking ones. Yeah. The walking ones, the moving ones, and then the sitting meditation ones. So this one is more meditation ones.
Wonderful. So one other thing that I wanted to ask you about the healing sounds, and that is, okay, so as I said, I've learned it in different ways. And sometimes when I've learned the healing sounds, the master has treated the teaching of the sounds almost like a Chinese pronunciation lesson. And other times when I've learned the healing sounds, the master has just said, you make the sound very simply and you do the intentional work with the sound. And that's all you have to do. You don't have to speak Chinese to do it. What do you think about that?
Let's put it this way, yeah. The mind is playing the biggest part for our human beings. Yeah. So when you are projecting a good intention on there, the word, the sound itself is just a medium. We have a Chinese a proverb would say, 言者所以在意，得意而忘言. So when you're talking, your purpose is to communicate, right? It's get the meaning. But once you got the meaning, you don't worry about the word. Like say, for example, if you just look at each other, you understand each other, why bother talking a lot? Right? So that is just a medium. That is just medium. Well, on the other hand, some people say, oh, all right, yeah, I don't need to pronounce well, and then I just don't do it. Then that is also wrong, right? So you need the effort, and that effort should be coming from your true heart. Like I try to do as best as I can, but I cannot do actually right or even maybe totally wrong. It doesn't matter. When you put that energy, and also, like I said, collective energy, your intentional energy, that will lead you in a very direct way. I have a good story to share, actually, that kind of Om Mani Padme Hum. Yeah, Om Mani Padme Hum. In Chinese, we say Om Mani Padme Hum. Yeah, that's in Chinese way. And of course, it's also very popular chanting too. And if you read it, the last one is a mouth, then the other side is a nu, pronounced as hong, like cow. Oh, yeah. So that is how that word is made of. And then there's a monk. He was wandering, yeah, because he was wandering, visiting from one monastery to the others. Then one day he saw, wow, one monastery, the temple was huge energy. Then he went there and find there's a monk was chanting Om Mani Padme Hong. Instead of Hong, he said Om Mani Padme Nu, which means cow. Om Mani Padme Nu, Om Mani Padme Nu. Then he said, no, that's not right. You should chant Om Mani Padme Hong. Oh, really? Because he's very yeah. So that monk, okay. So he tried to correct himself. Then the first monk, after a few months, he returned and passing here said, well, let me see how greater he will be. Then he find, because the good monks, they can see energy. Then he found that temple's energy are much lower. He was very surprised. And when he saw him, then he went to see the monk, and that monk was Om Mani Padme Hum. But each time when he's chanting Hum, he's hesitated because he's not sure. Before he pronounces wrong, but he's very confident. Right? He thought it was right. Yeah. This one, not so certain. Well, actually, that gave the first monk a big enlightenment. So, wow, when it's happening, allow it to grow. I think that's one of the reasons why there's so many branches. You cannot say they're wrong because they are all from their true heart through all this collectiveness, collective energies, and we form different community chi. Like cross. When you see cross, oh, Jesus, yeah. So that kind of things don't need any word at all. Just collective energy. They're already very powerful.
Well, thank you for that. So we're drawing to a close, Robert, and I'm wondering if you have anything you'd like to share with our audience. Do you have an online course or a book coming out, or I don't know, you're very active out there in cyberspace teaching, so I'm sure something's happening.
Well, I don't know when this will be broadcasting.
At the end of May. At the end of May.
Because this coming weekend, I'm going to teach this 7 days of meditation live.
Yeah, but this coming weekend, you mean in June?
Yes, I do. Actually, for the Six Healing Sound, I'm going to have an e-course. We call it Update Yourself Daily. 7 days of meditation to de-stress and rejuvenate. So you can go to my website, robertpeng.com, and we'll have all the information there.
That's great. Thank you so much for such a wonderful session. I know that our audience really got a lot out of it, and it was just great to hear your stories. And and thanks everybody out there in the audience for participating. We couldn't do this without you, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
It's